Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to another webinar from Psychspace. Today we are going to explore the topic of building up self-confidence and self-esteem. In this brief but impactful session, we'll dive into practical strategies, mindset shifts, and actionable steps to help you break free from self-doubt, embrace your strengths, and step into your full potential. Joining us this afternoon are esteemed experts who possesses knowledge and experience in the realm of mental health. Allow me to introduce our prominent speaker for the afternoon. Firstly, we have Ms. Yeja Chaudhary, who has been a mental health enthusiast since a very young age and is known for her being vocal about her journey with body image issues as a storyteller in a Spotify original podcast, Dear Teenage Me, and various social media platforms. Ms. Yeja has completed her master's in clinical psychology from Christ University and is currently working as a psychologist at Psychspace. Secondly, we have Ms. Tipshika Kalita. She has done her bachelor's in psychology from Guwahati University and her master's in clinical psychology from Downtown University and is currently working as a psychologist at Psychspace. Lastly, hello everyone. My name is Alankrita and I have completed my master's in applied psychology under Dibrugarh University affiliated institution and also currently working as a psychologist at Psychspace. I heartily welcome all our speakers. Thank you for dedicating your valuable time to be with us. I am certain that the viewers are eagerly waiting and looking forward to your enlightening discussion.
Thank you so much, Alankrita. It was a really wonderful introduction.
So, without further ado, let's delve right into the topic. So, I would like to go forward with the first question of the session. Um, can anyone of you elaborate on what is exactly self confidence and self esteem?
Yes, Alankrita, I think I'll go ahead with this particular question. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So I was speaking about self confidence and self esteem. So when we talk about self confidence, it is a belief about, one's ability, and to succeed in a specific task or situation. It is built through someone's experience. So the confidence factor in that particular word, it comes with experience, skills, and the success that you had, and the small win that you had, and accomplishments that you had, builds someone's self confidence. A person who has high self confidence trusts their ability and to handle challenges and risk, and challenges and risk. Whereas, on the other hand, when we talk about self esteem, a person's overall sense of value, worth, is something when we talk about self esteem. It is more of a stable and a very deeply rooted in how one perceives themselves beyond their achievement, beyond their wins in life, you know. And someone who has a high self esteem means that they accept oneself unconditionally, regardless of their failures and the setback. So, if I have to give you examples for both of these, for example, let's just say someone who is who has good self confidence, like a student who has practiced for a debate and feels confident while speaking in front of the audience, because he has done his part and he is very confident on the topic that he's speaking, and he's very much strongly he view himself that I can do this, because he has already done his part of practicing over it, and doing the research that he needs to do. So that makes a person confident when he's speaking. Another example would be a person listening to drive gains of confidence after successfully parking a car multiple of time. For example, someone who has started learning to drive for the first time, for that person it can be a bit hard, like to drive in a busy road, in somewhere if he needs to park the car parallelly, and he'll be like, can I be not, will I be able to, or will I be not be able to, things like that. But let's just say the same person has to drive the car on a daily basis, right, regularly. In that particular period, when someone has mastered the skill of driving, when you practice it again and again and again and again, the person builds the confidence over that particular thing. Yes, I can drive on a busy street. Yes, I can park the car parallelly. Yes, I can, go on narrow streets as well, right? Things like that. So when we talk about self confidence, it comes from, through it builds through situations, experiences, skills, and small and accomplishments. And on the other hand, when we talk about self esteem, like I said, it's more on a stable and a deeply rooted part. A person, let's just take an example, a person who does a mistake, okay, and that mistake of his, he's getting like he's getting like very negative criticism from his office, that he's doing some sort of mistake again and again or something like that. But the person but those criticism from their colleague or from someone doesn't make him question his self-worth. That particular thing is self-esteem. Because of one incident of mistake, you're not questioning your worth, you're not questioning your abilities, and you're not questioning your strengths. You have done a mistake, or you, let's just say that it was an accident from your end. But a person who has good self-esteem, who knows them, knows their value and their worth, is not going to judge himself or herself on the simple mistake that he just did. That is how strong self-esteem is. Okay. And then someone looking in the mirror, and then they appreciate themselves regardless of the standards of beauty that there is in the world, right? That is again self-esteem. You know who you are, you know your worth, your value, regardless of the beauty standards in the society, regardless of how people are assuming you or wants you to look like. you know that is what makes it self esteem. And I think, yeah, so both of those things are very much necessary in everyone, but they are something which can definitely be mastered, and can help a person to have a better life when you believe in yourself, when you trust yourself, and when you're confident and you know your worth and your value. So I think I have overall touched all of this domains where I was wanting to explain about self confidence and esteem.
Thank you, Yeja. Yes, definitely. You put it really wonderfully, and I am sure it was really, really knowledgeable and really, really helpful for our viewers. So, like going to the next question, I'd like to put forward: how can we like handle criticisms or rejection without letting it damage our self worth?
Right. So, criticism and could you come again with the question once more?
Yeah. So, how can we handle criticisms or rejection without letting it damage our self worth.
Rejection, yes, right. So when we talk about criticism and all of these things, one thing, like, I want to go back again, where I was talking about esteem, self-esteem and self-confidence, is that when you have a strong self-esteem, like the example I gave you just now, that you did a mistake, there's something that happened by your end at the office, or at somewhere in the party, or somewhere between, like with your partner, and you did a mistake and there was a fault from your end, right? But the fact that you were accountable for that mistake, that yes, I did wrong and I take accountability for that, and then the image and the value that you have about yourself, the worth that you see for yourself, that yes, I did a mistake, but that mistake doesn't define me, that is how you can take criticism, taking thinking it to be a constructive criticism, right? How do we because we say this term constructive criticism, like it's not direct, it is directed to you, but it's not who you are. The mistake doesn't define you. You have done a mistake from your end, and you're just gonna work on it, and you're gonna do something better. So someone with a good self-esteem and self-worth is not going to let the mistake define himself. But on the other hand, let's just say someone who has very hard time thinking high, thinking knowing their self-worth and their self-value. In that case, criticism is
Yes, thank you, Veja, for diving into this question. I would also like to go ahead and talk about it. Okay, so first of all, when we face like a criticism or a rejection sort of situation, the first thing that we do is we sort of start devaluing ourselves, or like start thinking that I'm not good enough. That is why this happened. So it is very important that at that point of time we acknowledge how we are feeling. First of all, we need to process that this thing happened and why it happened. Okay, and then going from then, like Yeja talked about constructive criticism, there is also something called destructive criticism. So we need to see where the criticism is coming from, the source of the criticism, that is. While constructive criticism can be very helpful for us, like it can help us grow. At the same time, destructive criticism is not that beneficial. It can, rather make us, rather, push our insecurities. So it is quite important that we see from whom the criticism is coming from, and in what kind of situation has the criticism been brought. So after that, we can sort of focus on our strengths instead of looking at all our, negative points or like negative sides. We can just rather, go back and look at our accomplishments, past accomplishments, and the strengths and the skills that we have. That will, give a boost in our confidence, because if we, relate our past accomplishment or past experience in the sense that okay, I did this in the past, I have done this in the past, I have gone through, I accomplished this in the past, that itself will, give us a boost in our confidence. Because currently we are feeling like, we are very, you know I would say a lot of confidence is lost after we face that criticism or rejection. It's like my self-worth is very low, I am no one, no one likes me, or those kind of sort of thoughts will come up in the head. So to remind us that yes, I have done this in the past, yes, I have accomplished it, that can be really helpful in that particular situation. And then there's always this thing of like seeking social support. We can talk with someone, we can share it with someone, and in that way that person will also tell us their experience or their situations where they have faced rejection, or they have faced criticism, and then we can maybe have like a third party discussion on it, how they have overcome it, and what were their strategies. And in a way, they can also be just listening to us. Just by listening and just by communicating, we'll feel a lot better. And then we also can reframe our, like, own perspective when a criticism is being given. Rather than taking it as like purely a rejection or criticism, we can also see it as something, beneficial for us, or like something, a learning experience. So to say that this was a learning experience, this was not my failure, rather a learning experience. And then certain things that we can do, such as, like, practicing maybe mindfulness, maybe seeking help from a therapist, those things will ultimately help us in our resilience building. It can be anything, maybe journaling also, or maybe practicing our favorite hobby, or like playing like an instrument or something, whatever helps us. Those things can help us well, or like, just healthily show, uh, just help us, think about our emotions, process our emotions, and also, clear our mind. So I hope I could give like a, you know, uh, uh, I could provide whatever you were seeking with your question.
Thank you, Deepshika. Yes, it is very important. Like you mentioned, it is very important to, it is like, very important to take criticisms too, which is like, if you don't understand what is going on or what you're doing wrong, be it anywhere or be it with yourself, you won't be able to, go forward and like learn. So it is a like a learning process. uh, if you're not able, when you, sometimes it is difficult to handle criticisms, which is okay, which is totally okay. But there are ways in which we can, try our best to handle even that, destructive criticisms, like, assuring oneself, like, yes, the person, at the same time you have to accept that, this person had said something to you which has in a way, affected your self-esteem or self-worth, which acceptance of that is very important. If you're in denial that you, that this is not affecting me, it will end up affecting you even more. So when you accept the fact that something is affecting you, you can work on it even better. So, and the damage, even though there has been a damage, it is a damage you can definitely, heal. But if you don't accept it, and if you move forward without, like, talking about it or avoiding it, it will affect you even more. So thank you, Dipshika. Like, going forward with the next question, what daily habits or routines can help improve self-confidence?
Right, Alankrita, I would like to go ahead with that question. So when we talk about, like, I know the internet is filled with self confidence and, self worth, self concept, self esteem, all of these, masterclass and all of these courses where you can purchase and you can build your self confidence, stuff like that. But I think the entire youth right now is trying to build on their confidence, is trying to, be the better version of themselves and push themselves to the highest potential of them, right? So I think, like, with the help of this webinar, our viewer will also understand like these few things. First thing first, if you really want to work on your self confidence and your self esteem, the first thing I think is very practical in nature, that is, set small achievable goals. You know, because basically what happens in our brain is that you have set this comfort zone of yours, you have built an identity of your, a perspective of yours, where you feel that this is who I am, And anything out of your comfort bubble gives you anxiety, gives you nervousness, gives you a feeling of tension, like would I be able to do it, would I not be able to do it, and how will I be able to do it, I've never done it in the past. See those situation as opportunity. I know if all of a sudden someone tells you something to do, it's a quite nervous thing. I know a lot of people will get nervous, even I will get nervous sometimes. But see it as an opportunity and not as a threat. It's not a threat to you. It can be an opportunity as well. So similarly, we need to set very small and achievable goals. It can be as simple as in your to-do list. Today I'm gonna work out. Today I'm gonna do this thing. Today I'm gonna take my pet to walk, because it's been almost weeks and months that I haven't taken my pet outside from the house because I'm so burdened with my work and all of other things, right? It can be as simple as that. You need to set goals, achievable goals per se, and you need to do them. And when you do them, there are two things or three things that happens in your brain basically. Firstly, when you do that, you're basically coming out from your comfort zone. It means and when you do that task, it gives you that happiness, the sense of accomplishment. Oh yes, I did it. When you're going to bed and when you just did that task, you're like, oh, I did it. It's done. I have been procrastinating about this particular thing since weeks, and right now I did it. So what technically happens in your brain is that you release dopamine in that particular time, that particular moment. And when you release dopamine, we all know it's the reward system, right? You feel, you get a good feeling about yourself, and that good feeling boosts your self confidence. Oh, I can do it. So our brain basically remembers these good moments and these bad moments as well, right? So when you focus next time, when you think of doing something and when you focus there, it will be easy for your brain to give you that evidence. Remember last time you did it and you did it so good, and it gives you that push. And when there is dopamine release in the brain, there is reduction of anxiety and fear. The whole fear that you were having, like would I be able to do it or not. And plus, when the goals are very achievable and it's very small, you anyways have small, like you anyways have the intensity of the anxiety or the fear is smaller. It's not that greater, right? So it builds an ecosystem in your brain which is like a reward loop, feedback loop, positive feedback loop. Each time you do something, your brain is releasing dopamine and you're feeling good about yourself, and that is building your self confidence, and later it is going to, and it's strengthening your self esteem about yourself, right? There's a whole cycle to it. So that is how you feel so good when you work out. But if you keep doing that workout for a prolonged period of time, and when it becomes your habit of your routine, you're not that happy anymore. So you add more weights to it, or you do a new set of cardio or a new set of workout to it, and then you feel like, oh, I feel good today. I did something new. That is the only mechanism that happens in our brain. So when you do something new, your brain, and when you step out of your comfort zone, your brain goes like, oh, I did something new and this feels good. And when you feel good, it gives you that positive reward in your brain. And next time when you are about to do that, it will give you that piece of memory when how you felt when you did that particular work, right? And that is how in the long term, and now I'm just talking about small achievable goals. When someone actually starts doing it month by month, year after year, they can definitely take these things into, not year by year, but like month after month, they can definitely take these small tasks into big tasks as well. I'm gonna take that course by the month of this. I'm gonna complete that course and I'm gonna get certified for that particular thing, right? Stuff like that. So first thing, like I said, take small goals, small steps and achievable goals and do it. Create that space for your brain, where your brain believes yourself that yes, you did it and you can do it again, right? And it will definitely boost your self confidence. Second thing is that we need to start talking positive about ourselves, like a positive self talk. If you see, there is like all the things that we think about, all the notions that we have about ourselves is basically our perspective about ourselves. And those perspectives can be some other person's voice, your own internal monologue, or all other things. Something that you happened in the past creates your own perspective, like how you it creates the whole identity and the perspective about your own self. Right. Now, when you challenge those negative beliefs that you have, right? For example, I'm not capable. I'm not capable of love. I'm not capable of this. I'm not capable of anything. I'm not capable of high end job. I'm not capable of getting this amount of salary. If you limit yourself with such self talk, it is definitely going to impact you, because nowhere you're going to push yourself to do that, because you already have a limited belief in your head thinking that you're not achievable, or you're not capable of doing that, right? Irrespective of your capability and irrespective of how strong you are, one should always have a positive self talk, because with positive self talk, the same thing is going to happen again to your brain. When you say, I am capable of doing that, I am strong, I will be, I don't know how, but I will be do it, I'll figure it out. Such positive self talk actually boosts you so much. And it is not, and if you see, the belief is not a limited belief, it's an unlimited belief. You don't know your capability, like you said yourself. I am capable, but I don't know, right, how I'm going to do that work, but I am going to do that work. So that mindset is going to help a lot. And the second thing is that one starts to need, catching themselves when they one also needs to challenge themselves when they start getting negative thought about themselves. You need to catch yourself when you are doing that consciously. Oh, did I just speak bad about myself? Did I just say a very negative thing about myself? Challenge those negative belief of yours, and you see how you step out of your current belief that you have about yourself. Another thing that actually help a lot of people is that developing new skills. So like I said, a lot of people have limited belief. When you add new belief to that limited belief, it opens new possibility. So it can be any small, any very minute skills, anything like that. For example, as simple as learning to do bakery stuff, learning to cook something, learning to stitch something, doing craft, doing pottery, learning a new language, anything. When you develop skills, it builds your identity you know so again, same reward loop goes on in your head, and it gives you the sense of strong esteem, self strong esteem, and it gives you the confidence. And another thing is that one needs to see where they are, what they are surrounding themselves with. If you have people in your life who have a very negative outlook to the world, and who always talk bad about themselves all the time, every time when you sit with them on the table, every time if they speak bad about themselves, you are somewhere surrounding yourself with a lot of negative talk, a lot of negative talk. And then what happens ultimately, when everyone is talking bad about themselves, as human, you don't feel like talking good about yourself, right? Because everyone is going through so much, and everyone is talking so much, difficult things. You can't just go and say, oh, but I had such a wonderful weekend this time, I did this, I did that. You can't do that, right? So be there for your friends, be there for your people, but also know, what sort of environment are you choosing to sit with, and what sort of people are you meeting with on a daily basis, and sitting, letting yourself indulge it. Surround yourself with positive influences. It can be anyone and everyone. It can be virtual friends also, it can be virtual groups also, support groups, it can be anything, right? So take care of your surrounding. And lastly, like I said again in the beginning, speak kindly to yourself no matter what, you know. A lot of time you treat yourself so bad unknowingly also that you fail to give yourself the compassion and the love. But on the other hand, if you see how you treat yourself, you don't even treat that bad to anyone else in your life. You don't treat like that to your best friend, you don't treat like that to your partner, nor do you treat like that to your mother, your father, your sibling, no one. You treat like that only to yourself. You fail to give compassion and love only to yourself, right? So speaking kindly about yourself, you know, helps to boost yourself again, and then again it challenges your negative belief about yourself, right? It starts from compassion, goes to challenging your negative beliefs about yourself, breaking those limited belief about yourself, and opening an endless possible, opportunities for yourself, and changing the whole way you see and perceive the world and yourself, right? So Alankita, I think that's all I had to add from my end.
Yeah, thank you, Reja. It is actually very important, like you mentioned, to take care of oneself. When you start taking care of yourself, you start noticing a lot of things about yourself. Be it, how you're taking care of yourself, or be it how you're treating yourself, or be it how much, uh, you know, uh, positive are you about your life, about anything that's going on in your life. So that is basically the first step or the first habit to improve one's self-confidence. We should we we should always remember that, like, there are some of the things we are, or we might not be good at, and then we have to accept that. And it's not wrong to be not good at something. What's wrong is not accepting that you're not good at it and not trying to be better at something. So when when we notice the signs of, when we notice how we're taking care of ourselves, when we start taking care of ourselves, and we start adding, small small achievements in the list of achievements and start celebrating them, you know that's how we'll understand that, and ourselves, and that's how we'll be able to build self confidence. So now moving forward with the last question of the session. So how would you advise a friend struggling with low self-esteem?
All right, Alankrita, I would like to go ahead with this question. So, we all have friends, and as friends, we also have certain responsibilities. So, one of that is that, you know, we can support them emotionally, right? And we all have had experience, or we all have seen friends struggle with low self-esteem. And as adults, when we talk about, like, self-esteem, there are two types of self that we basically deal with. First is our perceived self, and then there is our ideal self. So, perceived self is who we really think we are, and our ideal self is who we really think we should be. So, when there's a clash, or like when there's a big gap between these two, our self esteem like goes low. And when the gap is very less, then our self esteem is quite high. So, as friends, we can do a lot to bridge that gap. So first thing that we can do is that when we're genuinely having conversations or like talking, and in those conversations, our friends might be like, "I'm so bad at this," and they might have this pattern or this, habit of saying this. in like many conversations. So we can just gently, say to them, no, but I've seen you doing good in that instance. You're not always, you are not always making this mistake. This might be a different experience, but I've seen you doing good. And as a friend, they might take that response seriously because you have genuinely been with them. So that kind of feedback is really important for them. So another thing that we can do is that we've talked about it before also. We can highlight their strengths. And always we tend to believe people who have seen our struggles, right? So if we say that, if they are saying, or like if they are, um, giving, or like we're having a discussion and they're saying that, I have become this, or like I have become so low, or like my experience has so far been so bad, and this is going on, this and this, everything is, in a negative pattern, then we can, like, just say that I have seen your strengths, you've done so good in the past. Like I said before, like we can bring up their past accomplishments and past things that they have achieved in, and we can just present the example. It's like we are reminding them, just like a reminder, because as humans also, we don't remember the positive stuff or the good stuff that we've done. We constantly keep on thinking about the negative part, because the negative things are a bit more powerful also, negative emotions are quite more powerful. So in we can be that reminder for them, we can remind them. And people with low self-esteem can be people pleasers also. They tend to overwork themselves, or like, they try to please us a lot. So if we see that our friend is doing that a lot, we can just, tell them to, maybe, not do that. Maybe they don't need to overcompensate themselves for the sake of us. We can interfere. We can also say that, you take rest, or like you do it, I got it, like, you take rest for today. So we can support them in that way. And instead of, just directly saying that you need a therapist, you can't deal with this anymore, you need a therapist, instead of saying that, we can just gently, maybe bring up the idea of therapy, or gently bring the idea of therapy in a way that it is not only for struggles, and it's not only for the weak, it's for everyone. Any kind of, maybe if they are not comfortable with therapy, maybe we can have a conversation of what they're, talking about. And then after a while, if they get comfortable with the idea of therapy, maybe then we can introduce it to them. And celebrating small victories, like I think Aja also talked about it, like small steps that we need to take. Celebrating small wins after they have succeeded in that those things is, also I think is something that a friend should do. That if your friend has, sort of achieved this small thing, it's very tiny, but you notice that, and you can, just congratulate them, you spoke really well today in the meeting, or like, you did really a good job in your workout session today. So small things like that can give them a boost. And then we can also help them, by involving them. Oftentimes they might not have that, courage, or like, confidence to, join a particular event that they really like, or like, uh, or maybe some sort of a class or something, but you can see that they really like it, they really want to. You can be a companion to them also, like, okay, let us both join this thing. Or we can either, give them that push that they require to join that thing, because they might not join because they might think that they're not good enough for it, but they really want to. So in that way we can help them. Other than that, we can also, introduce things like, journaling, or like mindfulness. And other than this also, like just expressing genuine concern and care for their well-being, like whether they're doing well, how are they, and just by communicating itself, I feel like, we can really really help them. So I hope I could give a good enough answer for this question, Alam.
Yes, thank you, Dipshika, for putting it really wonderfully. So, yes, it is very important to look out for your friends, specifically with the friends which who are struggling with low self confidence or low self esteem, and always try to lift them up because as it might be really really difficult for them, and dealing with low self confidence and low self esteem is might be something common, but it is not easy. So maybe help each other, help when you motivate your friends, and ask, tell them that they have done really well, or just like Dipshika mentioned, celebrate their small wins, even though they are very skeptical about it. They are like, it's just a small thing, but when you do that, they definitely feel very motivated and they try their best to even do better. So we have come to the end of this session. So let us summarize today's webinar. So first on, we discussed on how what is self confidence and self esteem. So how how are both important in one's personal life. It is how important it is to build an individual. So next we started discussing about how to handle criticisms or rejections. So there were two criticisms mentioned by Dipshika, that is constructive criticisms and destructive criticisms. So constructive criticisms, they are something that is really beneficial for oneself, and destructive criticisms can lead to low self esteem or damage of self worth. But even when someone receives, or you um, are given a destructive criticisms, you can take it first and accept the fact that it is something that is affecting you, and then move forward to deal with it deal with it in a way which will be which in a healthy way, which will later on help you you know uh, take that as an experience and help you deal with other destructive criticisms and or rejections even more. Then next we talk about how daily habits or routines can help improve self confidence. They can be either like celebrating small wins, taking making a list of things that you have succeeded today or succeeded doing in this week, celebrating yourself, understanding yourself. Excuse me. Next, we discussed about how we can help a friend in dealing with low self-esteem, like talking about their talk having a conversation about how they have been feeling or what happened with them if they have a low mood, or talking about celebrating their small wins, telling them that they have done better, they are doing really good in their life. So that's all I had to add. uh, I hope that we hope this session could inspire everyone and our viewers, especially our viewers, to build greater self confidence and self esteem in daily life. So, and everyone should remember that self confidence is a skill that grows with practice. It needs patience and it needs self belief. You have to believe in yourself. So try to take small steps, try to challenge your negative thoughts, and try to embrace your strengths, because every one of you and every one of us, we are capable, worthy, and deserving of success. Um, and lastly, I would like to extend my sincerest gratitude to the speakers for enlightening us with your knowledgeable words. Last but not the least, thank you to our viewers for your love and support. And remember that Space is available in every social media platform. You can follow us on our Instagram page for latest updates and information. And for any professional help, we are just a DM away. Thank you all. Have a great day.